Hello friends, today we're taking a look at Power Rangers! Specifically, we get to take a look at the Red Zeo Ranger and the Gold Zeo Ranger, or Zeo Ranger 5 Red and Gold Ranger as they called them in the show, and in Sentai he was a Black Ranger actually. They called him King Ranger, but he was considered black in color, which makes sense because his helmet's actually black and not gold, but you know, whatever, I digress. In the show, the Red Zeo Ranger was Tommy, and the Gold Zeo Ranger was originally a guy named Trey of Triforia, who's these alien triplet guys, and then he gets replaced by Jason, and we get an alternate head for Tommy, which is Jason David Frank on the right over there for the Zeo Ranger that's red, and then the Gold Zeo Ranger, we get Trey of Triforia instead of Jason, which everyone would love because he was the original Red Ranger, but we have a Red Ranger figure that comes with a Austin St. John Jason head that we could probably swap on anyways, so, I mean, I'm getting ahead of myself, that's all accessory stuff, but in terms of the sculpt, these two look pretty fantastic. I mean, I can't really think of any details they missed. They got little lips sculpted underneath the, designs of the helmet. They have different designs, obviously, and like this little 6-prong design, since they're supposed to be like numbers, and he's like, a star has 5 points, kind of, because I guess it looked cooler than, a pentagon, so they put a star on the 5th Ranger, which is the red one. You think he'd be number 1 because he's red, but whatever, they put 5-point shape on him, and a 6-point shape, I guess, was this thing? Because maybe this is like a kanji for king, probably, because in the Sentai he's the King Ranger, obviously, and, it looks a lot cooler than a hexagon. And it goes, a pentagon and a hexagon look the same, but then you look at the other Rangers, and it's like a circle for the first one, and then a triangle for the number 3, and a square, or rectangle for number 4, so, I mean, all the shapes make sense, except for these two, kind of, but these are also the coolest Rangers, so, I can definitely forgive the oddness there. They got folds and wrinkles sculpted in the costumes where you'd expect them. It's a lot more subtle on the Gold Ranger here, but then you look at, like, the belts, and, like, wow, they got the wrinkles up on the belt and seem a little more noticeable on the Gold Ranger over there. And little wrinkles where the pants get tucked in and where the knee bends. Like, so many details they sculpted. And then the Zeo Ranger costumes are so cool because they have all these little intricate designs in the chest, and it's all sculpted detail. I can't see a thing they missed with the sculpt. The sculpts on these are fantastic. If we start talking about the paint, however, well, these guys kind of fall apart, but I mean, they're also kind of really good. So, no Gold Ranger before, as far as I know, maybe like a Figure Arts, if there's been a Figure Arts of the Gold Ranger or the King Ranger, has done this blackness inside the details. But that blackness should also be in this ring here, and that is missing, and, it should really be in the little crevices in between the King symbol on the belt buckle there, which, I mean, I'm not sure if it was, actually colored black in the show, but, obviously there's a lot of depth, and some coloration dark in there would really help to fill it out. And then all these little things on the gauntlets of the boots and the gloves, the little cufflinks on the boots and the gloves, they need to have that design too. And it's just missing, but I mean, at least they did it front and back on the top of the chest armor there for the Gold Ranger, so that's a big plus. They got the gold trim on the symbol on the visor also, which is really good. I mean, back when Bandai was running the line, they would just ignore kind of details like that, But one detail they definitely missed was a gold ring that's supposed to be in between the wrist and the white part here, like right here at the edge of the wrist that's white. There's supposed to be another gold ring right there, really thin. They missed it. You'll hardly notice it though, probably, so, I mean, they probably expected people didn't really care. But paint on him's mostly good compared to other figures. Could be a lot better though. Same thing pretty much goes for the Red Zeo Ranger, not necessarily black, but a darker shade of gold should be in all the little intricate details in these symbols and on the cuffs and on the cuffs of the boots and all of that. I mean, I don't think it goes on the actual belt buckle, but I mean, wow, look, they got the details in the belt buckle sculpted well. But I mean, we already talked about the sculpt. It's a paint that's pretty good. I mean, I like that the helmets have a glossier finish than the rest of the suit because, in real life, the Sentai suits had kind of a shininess to them, but the American suits, they always kind of lose that shininess, but the helmets, either way, are shiny, so the helmet should definitely be shiny no matter what. And then, the actual body, how shiny the body should be is kind of up for debate, I guess. But I mean, they have kind of a bit of a sheen, but either way, I mean, it's got to be a different material than the helmet. So the helmet should definitely be a lot shinier. I think the paint on these is probably some of the best we've ever seen on Ranger figures. I mean, the gold is definitely a really good tone. I mean, it's look at the Gold Ranger here. And then look at the Gold Ranger here. I mean, this is a gold shade we all kind of complained about. See how good the gold is on the visor of the old Legacy Collection one? And then, the chest armor is just so awful. But I mean, at least Bandai did get the little gold cufflinks at the bottom of the glove there correctly. But I mean, the shade of gold is such an improvement overall that I can forgive it. I mean, the paint's very good compared to most other figures we've gotten. I'm just disappointed because it could have gone the extra mile, but I mean, these are $20 figures, not SH Figure Arts. I think it's a-okay for the price point. Articulation is pretty standard Lightning Collection fare. There is a ball hinge on the head, so far up and down. The side motion's kind of limited on my Red Ranger here. Gets a bit better on the gold, though. There's a diaphragm joint that gets pretty good range, even without the reverse ab crunch, and then you include it in, like, wow, they get pretty good ranges. I mean, I actually think my ab joint's stuck on this one. What the heck? It's not bending! Haha! Now you can see how flexible he's supposed to be. This ab joint was stuck at first, but I popped it up, and then, yeah, it's a lot more flexibility. Same thing pretty much goes for the Gold Ranger. I mean, the chest armor doesn't really get in the way. It doesn't have any cuts in it to allow for posability, but I mean, it's a squishy, rubbery more material, so it's plenty flexible enough that it doesn't seem to hinder anything. Same thing goes for the butterfly joints. Like, the arms can shift forward and back. They can go up above 90, even with this rubber shield in the way. I mean, come on. It's really good articulation, and they swivel all the way around. Both characters have double elbows, of course, and they get hinge and swivel wrists. Nice. No shield below the waist. They can both do the splits so far. Legs can come so far forward. Not really back because the butt's in the way, and they got cut thighs. Double knees, and swivels at the tops of the boots. Then hinge and pivot, Marvel Legends style ankles. Can go pretty far back, a little bit forward. Articulation's pretty perfect. I don't know what more you could really expect. The shield doesn't block the Gold Ranger at all. I mean, great job. There's nothing that could have really added. It's awesome articulation. Excellent. So here are the red and gold Zeo Rangers in their packaging. Pretty standard Lightning Collection packaging. Very thin box that's flat and rectangular, easily stacked. Figures in there pretty easy. Can pop them out, no twist ties, and put them back. Super collector friendly. On the back for each character, we get a little photo of the figure. Nothing too special. Cool lightning bolt background there. On the right hand side, relative to the figure, we get character portraits. And on the left side, we get character portraits that also have the Power Rangers Zeo logo up there. And the gold color they're using is a lot nicer gold than the orangish gold we got with the White Ranger. Anyways, each of these just have a single piece of tape up top, or on the bottom, I guess. You could cut either one, really. And then just open them as you please. Huh. The inside for the red Zeo Ranger has a like black and red lightning bolt, which is kind of weird because, you know, I'm looking at like the White Ranger and he just has like the gold, well, it's orange, but it's supposed to be gold color. And then the gold Zeo has gold and black in there too, if you notice. It's kind of odd. I guess for Zeo, they're just doing like one of them is black on each little side. That's neat. But yeah, the characters just pretty much pop out. I think it's easy if you pull the legs first. And just yank them like that. Very easy packaging. No issues with it, really. Accessories are also really excellent. Both Rangers come packaged with trigger finger hands, but they also come with extra pairs of fists. Popping them on seems pretty good. It's pretty easy. Nice and firm in there. But for our purposes, we're going to keep the trigger finger hands so we can hold on their accessories. They also each come packaged wearing their helmets and each get alternate unmasked heads. Red Zeo Ranger 5 is, of course, Tommy, the legendary Jason David Frank, who had longer and longer hair as the show went on until he chopped it all off before coming back for the 10th anniversary. And you know, it's kind of cool that they got his long hair here, although if you look on the back, like, he has some kind of scrunchie, I guess? I don't know what they call him, a rubber band, whatever, that, you know, something holding his hair that should be painted, I think, unless it's just hair he tied his own hair up with. I don't know, but the likeness on this face sculpt is alright. I mean, it looks a little pudgier than Jason David Frank, if I recall, but I mean, they got a little earring he had there even painted, so that's a good detail. And, you know, I think the likeness is pretty good. The weirdest thing about this head sculpt is, like, you can tell the long hair is like a separate piece. It's like been glued on here, and it's like little gap that like can just wiggle. That's really weird looking, but I mean, otherwise the head sculpt's very good on him. Gold Ranger's head is Trey of Triforia, who's the alien, and he was played by Tom DeFilippo in the series, and his two brothers were twins of his, but I mean, when he was actually in the suit, it was Tom, that brother, and I don't really remember him having a scar in the show, but I mean, looking back at the stills, like he did, but it was like a lot more thin, less noticeable, but I guess, you know, Hasbro could only paint a little thing so thin with their, you know, printing technology. And I gotta say, the actor likeness on this head is really good. Even like his hair, like the few appearances Trey had, like that's what his hair looked like. So I mean, they got that pretty spot on. Nice head sculpt there. Then they both come with their signature weapons. Tommy's is the Zeo Power Sword, which is called the Star Riser in the Sentai, and it's pretty much just a sword. Let's pop it into his hand here. Maybe the left hand's a bit better. The left hand doesn't have quite the extended trigger finger thing on the right. Yep, you can do it on the left hand. Got to kind of pry the fingers open and get it in there. But man, does he look good holding that. That is a cool looking sword. I guess the Red Ranger always gets the cool little sword. And they got the paint details right. Just gets a red star. Inside a little gold circle. There's not much more to it. It looks very good. And Trey gets the golden power staff, which was known as the King Stick in Sentai. Yeah, I think we got the better naming convention for once. It's in its extended mode. This little bit in here in the Sentai would like fold up into there when it wasn't in use. But I mean, it's always like extended in the Saban American produced footage. And you know, if we look at the paint on it, these three little circles, the dots in the circles in the open part, and that one little circle right down there should all be painted red, but they're not. Same thing goes for the other side. But I mean, I can forgive that omission. What I can't forgive is this big T-shaped thing in between these prongs. That thing should be gold and it isn't, but I mean, I guess it would like wear off over time if you're sliding it in and out his hand if they painted it gold. So maybe I should have molded it gold and painted the outside bit silver, but whatever. I mean, I can't complain too much. It's missing some paint apps. It's gonna miss some. It's kind of hard to get into his hand. I gotta pry those fingers open again. Thank goodness the hands are mushy. Haha, he can hold it in there. Could probably also hold it by the, thinner parts that are just cylinders, but I like it right in there. Only Tommy comes with the Zeo laser pistol here, and they actually painted all the little details on this. You can even see like the little Zeo symbol in the sculpt right there. I mean, this little, parallelogram piece right here should be painted gold, but I mean, I'm not going to count that against them. They painted everything that they really should have. And he also gets a Zeo power pod, again, in extended mode, just like, the Gold Ranger's golden power staff thing is always extended in the show. They're only going to extend this one in the toys to be a sword, and he already comes with a sword, but I mean, whatever. The details on it, this gold is just supposed to be on the inside, and like the outside edge is supposed to be white, but they decided to like mold it gold because that was easier, and it's a detail that I'm going to forgive them because, I mean, obviously these are small details on this thing. I think we got enough paint on it. And on the show, these two things could combine to make an advanced laser pistol, but on the toys, they can't. Yeah, trigger fingers in there. Yeah, Tommy can hold them both just fine. It's actually a lot easier getting them into his hands than his, power sword star riser, whatever you want to call it over there. And the last thing they both come with is lightning accessories, because this is lightning collection after all. So we've seen this one, the lightning that just kind of wrap around stuff before, and this time it's colored gold, so just wrap it around gold power staff, and that looks fine to me. Tommy's lightning effect, however, is not for his power sword, surprisingly. It's for the Zeo laser pistol, so you just got to find a little hole here and slot the peg on the end of the pistol into it gently, because this thing could bend, and yep, it's already bending a little. Where's the hole in there? It's kind of hard to see. Yeah, it's kind of a tight fit, but once it's in there, that's definitely looking pretty sharp. I like these accessories, Hasbro. Keep up the good work. Oh no, maybe work a little harder on getting that to stick. Maybe I just didn't have it on strong enough. It can stick just fine. Just got to be careful with how you wedge it, because there's not a lot of room for error, I think. Scale time. Both Rangers stand at about 6 1/4 inches or 16 centimeters tall. As always, here they are with Marvel Legends Spidey and DCUC Batman. And the Bandai Legacy Collection Red Zeo and Gold Zeo Rangers. And yeah, I mean, gold might be missing a few paint apps here and there, but I mean, it's a huge improvement, isn't it? So do I ultimately recommend Hasbro's Lightning Collection for the Zeo Ranger team, friends? Well, heck yes I do. The sculpt and the accessories and the articulation are all top-notch. Hasbro is just killing it with the Lightning Collection lately. I mean, I guess the paint could be a bit better. There could be some more paint apps, but I mean, what we got is still like the best we've ever seen on figures of these characters before, so I definitely recommend them. And until next time, peace out, YouTube.